If my lynch mob posse video didn't ruin any chances of me getting monetized through YouTube at any point in the future, this one definitely will. So let's go ahead and get to it. The Confederate Rebellion. How's it going, everyone? Mike the Warhost here, and today we're taking a look at the Confederate Rebellion posse and the best way to go from the basic posse box to a tournament-ready list. The Confederate Rebellion posse is a highly flexible force that can be effective at almost any size. The 1.09 version of the theme posse allows for a much larger force than the previous version, even if it removes some of the freedom in list building. The posse bonus for the Confederates will give every unit the elite special rule, meaning you won't have to worry about getting unusable adventure cards, since you can simply turn them into additional action points when needed. This will also help you conserve fortune throughout the game to a small degree, which is always nice. Let's talk about faces, the main source of the Confederates' flexibility. The Confederate keyword shows up all over the place on Outlaw forces, and a few on other factions as well, letting you tailor your list to nearly whatever playstyle you want. Want to get across the board quickly? Bring John Wesley Hardin for portal shenanigans. Want to keep the unit of Dixie snipers alive in that building a little bit longer? Grab Wendell Lee. Looking for some additional melee options? Bloody Bill Anderson is the man for you. The Confederate Rebellion posse box will give you the following units: Stonewall Jackson, Tobias Franklin, Jeffrey Williams, 2 K9 attack dogs, and a single Confederate Terminator. This will give you 495 points to start out with. We still have another 700 points to go with 4 slots to fill. This works out if you put the Confederate Terminator into slot 1 and everything else into slot 2 thanks to the Sikkim rule that Tobias has. Your first purchase after the posse box needs to be the Confederate Rebellion Hands units. These guys make amazing objective holders thanks to Shrouded, and a unit of 4 Dixie snipers on top of a building will be absolute hell on anything coming in range thanks to a combination of long shot, removing distance penalties, and the free focus action for being at a higher elevation. Both units also come with specialist issue, so you can pack them full of whatever extra goodies you want, points allowing, of course, obviously. For this list, however, we'll stick with the stock armaments and sizes. So a 4-man unit of Rebel Scouts and Dixie Snipers each will add up to 240 points, take up slots 3 and 4, and bring our points total up to 795. The remaining slots give us a decent amount of flexibility. Both slots 5 and 6 allow for a Confederate unit and or a mercenary support unit. And while our current list does have some heavy hitters, it's also rather slow. So let's add in some Black Hoof Scouts to our list for some additional mobility and firepower. The Black Hoof Scouts are 45 units per model with a unit size of 1 to 6. We'll be taking a pair of Scouts to provide some fast-moving firepower at a cheaper cost than Iron Horses. Another benefit is that the Black Hoof Scouts can count as either a Confederate unit or a mercenary support unit, so you can easily fit in a Confederate face or another unit of hands in either slot without an issue. This will bring our list up to 885 points, with a bit more wiggle room. For the purposes of our discussion, we're going to count the Black Hoof Scouts as a mercenary support unit and add in Wendell Lee to slot 5. They'll be effective either as a source of grit check rerolls for objective holders or as a way to compel the Confederate Terminators to get some extra speed and firepower out of them. He's only 95 points, so he'll bring us up to 990 points. We're getting there. Our last slot is a mirror of slot 5, a Confederate unit and or a mercenary support unit. For this last slot, I'm going to recommend bringing in Bella Wilson for some additional long-range fire. She's an excellent sniper option for a Confederate force who can really mess with your opponent's deck. She comes with Shrouded, making her that much harder to dislodge from an elevated position, as well as Trapper, allowing you to bring an additional booby trap. She also brings along both long shot and kill shot, which will force a target with the human keyword to reroll successful grit checks from 18 inches away. Finally, she has counterintelligence, allowing you to redeploy a single unit after deployment is done, but before Trailfinder moves are finished. Get her onto a rooftop or elevated position as soon as possible. Bell Wilson is only a meager 90 points, so we have just a small handful left to finish up our list. Next up, we'll be adding in a trio of canine gun dogs equipped with a rocket pod and Gatling gun to hold down fire lanes and keep the enemy from running up one side of the board. The assortment of weapons will help ensure that any opponent foolish enough to wander into their line of fire will not last very long. This final unit will bring us to a grand total of 1,190 points, just 10 points shy of our 1,200 point goal. If you really want to hit that mark, feel free to spend those points on catching grenades for your hands units. Just because they're cheap and they're fun. The Confederate Rebellion Posse is a hard-hitting force that can perform well at nearly any point level if you're smart enough to utilize the posse's benefits to the fullest. That's going to do it for me today. Stay tuned for more painting tutorials, battle reports, posse discussions, and looks into upcoming and current War Cradle games. Take care, everyone. The posse bonus for the... All right, stop, slow down again.